Hey guys, so we're back, and in this video you learn how to configure NTFS permissions in a Windows system. In the previous video, as you can recall, we had created two folders. One is Bob and the second is Alice. Bob is the manager and Alice is the employee. So we had applied SMB permissions on these folders and then verified. Verified what? We verified that Bob can access his shared folders with the help of UNC path. Also, he can enter his own folder and he can enter Alice's folder as well. Since Bob is the manager, he can access his folder as well as the employee's folder too. Now, here's a situation. As you can see, Bob can enter Alice's folder. Not only can he enter Alice's folder, but he can also read into Alice's files. So what happens? Let us assume that Alice has two files, out of which one is the company's file having the name project, and the second is Alice's personal files having his passwords saved. So now just imagine if the manager enters into Alice's folders and if in case he reads Alice's passwords, that's a big blunder. In such a scenario, the manager will come to know about all the passwords of Alice. Now, to avoid such a scenario, what we can do is from the server, we can apply permissions on files as well. So, if I go into Alice's folder in the server and right click on his file, go to properties, here's the difference. As you can see, there's no tab for sharing. There's no tab for sharing. This proves what? This proves that SMB permissions cannot be applied on files. On files, you can only have NTFS permissions, as you can only see the security tab. So now, what do? We go to advanced, and as you can see, there are a lot of permissions present by default. How did this happen? So the logic is quite simple. Where are the files? The files are in a folder. So now what happens is, whatever permissions you apply on the folder gets applied on the files as well. This is known as inheritance. Inheritance means anything applied on the parent will also get applied on the child within. So now, if you do not want these permissions, you can simply disable inheritance and say remove all the permissions. So now you can have your fresh permissions applied. Now I click on add, and next you select a principal. Since it is Alice's file, we will search for Alice and give him all the permissions but full control. Full control is never given to a normal user. It is always with the administrator only, or you may say with the topmost IT guys and not with normal employees. Read means reading the content. Read and execute. Execute means to perform basic operations like copy paste, cut paste, print, rename. Modify means to modify the content within the file, and write, you can also delete the file. So we've given these permissions to Alice. Now, since we do not want the manager to read this particular file, we will not add the manager. Not adding a user simply means deny. Once when this is done, we come back to the client machine, and on this machine, who is logged in? It's the manager, Bob. Now, if Bob tries to enter into Alice's folder, as you can see, the file having passwords is not visible at all. But yes, the other file is visible on which the manager has read access. So he can open this file. Now the question is, how did the file get invisible, or how did the file hide? So the answer is in the server. In the server, if I go to File, Shares, and this was the folder Alice. If I go to its properties, in properties you can see settings, and in settings you see the first setting which says access based enumeration. If I disable this and apply, now on the client side I sign out and sign in again for a refresh. As you can see, now the second file is visible, and if I try to open it, you can see the error access denied. Once again, we go on the server and enable the setting once again. Now sign out and then sign in again. As you see, the file gets hidden again. That means this was the setting known as access based enumeration. It hides the file or the folder from the person who does not have any permissions, and for the person who has all the permissions, definitely he can see his files or his folders. So no doubt it's a very good setting which actually hides. So now once the file is hidden, you can't even try to hack the file since it is not visible. So this video was verification of NTFS permissions along with access based enumeration. Hope you guys like the video. Thanks guys. See you soon.